Hey everyone, welcome to the February 19th MakerDAO community call. This call, we go over some of the stuff that's been going on in the MakerDAO universe over the last week. This week, certainly, as most weeks, has been pretty busy. A lot of the team, around like 15 to 20 of us, are out in Colorado for ETH Denver, and we are still here. And there's still stuff going on, and it's been a really great event. So I'm going to be going over some of the things that happened in the event too, but let me actually do a very brief recap of some of the upcoming events after ETH Denver. So from the 5th to the 7th of March, we have ETHCC, and that's in Paris. There's also other blockchain week events going on in Paris around that time, so look out for that if you are in that geographic location in the world. Mariano still has the same updates from last week. So for the first week of April, there's a there's a Mexico Guadalajara maker meetup. He is also doing towards the end of April a UTN La Plata blockchain Congress event. Not sure exactly what it is, but next time he's on the call, I'll be glad to have him explain what that is. That's from the 25th to the 26th of April. And as for like outstanding events, that's pretty much all I have. So ETH Denver was a real big one, and we definitely all as a team put in a lot of work to it. So I'm gonna go over some of the stuff that happened there. But again, before I do that, actually, thinking, should I do ETH Denver first or like go through new hires? Yeah, let's do ETH Denver first, since it's part of the events stack of these announcements. All right, so I don't have too many statistics, although Twitter has been kind of erupting with a bunch of really interesting stuff to look at from ETH Denver. So one of my favorite things about the event was that we were using Austin Griffith's burner wallet. So every single person that came to the event got a QR code. They were able to scan it in with their Apple or Android or any device, and it would pull up an in-browser wallet called the burner wallet. And all of these wallets were preloaded with a local coin called Buffy Dai. And Buffy Dai was pretty much just Dai, right? And so all weekend long, people were using Buffy Dai to buy swag from like our booth, for example. They were using it to buy food, breakfast, lunch, and whatever they want from like I think there was like 8 or 9 different food trucks outside. It was a lot of fun, and people were getting onboarded into actually doing real transactions with crypto, which was really exciting to see. Also, the people that registered for the event, they were given special incentives to register with, I think it was Uport. So you could stake your ETH, and then you'd get like a special T-shirt when you got to the event and like confirm that you're there, right? So that was a lot of fun that we got to see some actual like practical use cases inside of the conference itself. But besides that, we also had 3 different bounties open. So the first bounty, I believe, was advancing the state of the advancing the state of zero knowledge proofs using Dai. So we referenced the Aztec protocol and basically said, hey, if you could do something cool with this, do it. And there was a really great project that did something really cool, which I'll mention soon. But so there was that. There was also create a novel peer-to-peer lending platform. That was a good one. And then there was the third one, which I am blanking out right now because I did not pull up these bounties. Hold on, give me 3 seconds. Oh yeah, and obviously improve the burner wallet. So we were doing a bounty for that as well. So the total of our bounties was about 6,500 Dai that we were giving out, and I believe we gave out. We split the improve the burner wallet bounty to 2 teams. The novel Dai-based lending platform bounty, I believe, was awarded to 1 team, and then the advanced state of the zero knowledge proofs with Dai was awarded to 1 team, and that's probably like my favorite personal project from the entire event. But so let's keep going then. All right, so we had a few talks also at ETH Denver. So Ashley Schapp did a talk on biz dev and crypto, breaking out of the bubble. Mariano Conti was he had his own talk, and he was also on a panel. So he did a talk on CDPs and multi-collateral Dai, and he looked at like some of the statistics. It was a good talk. And then he did the panel, and it was with oracles, and there was the guys from Chainlink, Rhombus, and I'm blanking on the other two guys. Yeah, but they did a panel on oracles, and it was really, really sort of enlightening to see the state of oracles as it is today, and all the thought that's going into what it's going to take to have like a diverse and rich oracle system moving forward in the space. Da, da, da. Sorry, give me just a second. All right, so also ETH Denver related. There was so our community member David Hoffman, he put out a really fantastic podcast where he got like I think 8 or 9 different guests to do 5 to 6 minute like mini interviews about their project as if you were coming up to their booth at the event itself. So I'm gonna post that because I think it was really well done. And if you didn't get a chance to attend ETH Denver, then just take a listen. It's about an hour long, and it covers a lot of the stuff and a lot of the projects that were there. Also, I'm going to post in the chat the winners of all of the bounties if you want to go take a look. So we weren't the only ones offering bounties. I think like most, or like maybe I think it was like 9 or 10 organizations were offering bounties throughout the event, and the hackathon was absolutely enormous. There was, I guess, 2 floors or 3 floors of just rows and rows of tables and people just hacking away all weekend long, and it was really fun to see. And overall, the atmosphere of the event was super, super wholesome. So, all right, enough of ETH Denver. I'm gonna move on to some other updates. What's up, Andrew? So other updates, new hires. So we have a few this week. So we just recently hired Danielle Boot. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's our new events lead in New York. So she's going to be doing a lot of the logistics behind things like ETH Denver and other major events that we're going to be participating in moving forward. We also hired Charles St. Louis to the team. He's a technical writer, and he's joining the JS product development team on March 4th. He's based in Canada. So he's going to be helping a lot with documentation of our contracts and other stuff. But it's really great to see us hiring a technical writer. I'm very happy about that. We also hired Ashoka to the JS product team, and she's going to be based out of New York. She's going to be starting on the 28th. And then lastly, we also hired Hazel Yang. So Hazel's our new product designer in Taiwan. So there we go. Those are the new hires for the week. Let's move forward. So a couple of other things that were like notable in terms of like partnerships. For example, Meridio posted a blog post saying that they love Maker, and Meridio is a peer-to-peer real estate token trading platform, and they use Dai, so they're big fans of us. And then also there was the weird instance on February 9th where the MakerDAO market cap jumped like 30%. And so I don't think we covered it in the last call, so I wanted to just explain that. So recently the foundation moved the multisig to a new wallet, and so the development fund was no longer being like taken out of the total supply on CoinMarketCap. So now the actual total supply is no longer like, what was it, 730,000 or something. Now it's actually 1 million. So we jumped up to like a few places on the board, but that was kind of an artificial pump in our market cap. But just wanted to explain that happened. Technically it's correct because the dev fund is meant to be spent over the next 5 to 7 years, so I don't think it's actually fair to count it out of the market cap personally, but that's neither here nor there, just stuff that has happened. So that's pretty much it for things outside of like highlights in the community. I'm gonna go through some highlights from the community now as well. Oh, and just a pause before I do. Akiva, I don't think that Ashley's actually gonna make it to the call. She is not around. Hopefully next week I'm gonna get her. But if you have any specific questions, you could feel free to ask on this call, and then I could take a note and just we could revisit the next call. All right, so we're gonna get to that. All right, highlights from the community. So there's actually a ton of really great Reddit threads, just regular discussion threads on everything from like novel ideas like redeeming Dai for MKR at like some sort of certain threshold. Huddle Down had a cool post about that. There's also a post on the rate at which ETH is being locked in MakerDAO, and it's currently sitting at like 28% a month. And if you extrapolate that out, it's kind of like a little crazy. I think in like a year we end up having 40 million ETH locked in our system if like this percentage rate continues. But I kind of I don't know, 40 million ETH. I don't know if like people will be comfortable with like 40% or like 38% of ETH supply locked in our contracts. But either way, that's some impressive metrics for the first year, over a year of launch. There was also a MakerDAO 2018 revenue analysis that was published by Marc-Andre Dumas. He's actually also a pretty active community member. He's built a bunch of cool tools. Actually met him at ETH Denver. Really nice guy. I was excited to meet actually a bunch of people from the MakerDAO community at ETH Denver, so that was a lot of fun. Actually, it is actually really worth taking a look at just conceptually. So I'm gonna post that the revenue analysis Medium article in the chat. There was also a YouTube video explaining Maker by this guy Crypto Shibe. I think he's like a new YouTube account, but I took a look at the video and it's pretty accurate, and he put a lot of work into it. So credit where credit's due. He did good. And it's a little shilly, but you know he does well to explain what Maker is, and he does well to explain what it could be, and yeah, it's just a good video. So that's pretty much it for the highlights from the community. But I did want to do the special mention for the advancing the state of zero knowledge proofs with Dai. So I'm gonna post the link to the chat, and it's a thing called ZDai. And ZDai is really freaking awesome because it is basically zero knowledge proof transactions on the burner wallet. So the burner wallet can now support confidential transactions, and that is actually like pretty mind blowing. I think it's still very much an alpha, so there's some issues, but like I think the prototype and everything was done at the event. So let me actually just read through here the query. Yeah. I mean, there's not too much else to say about it, but it's their project ZDai actually ended up winning 3 different bounties, one from MakerDAO, one from POA, and one from the Ethereum Foundation, all with that one project. But yeah. So Kiva asks in the chat, is the confidentially only in respect to the amount of people using it, or is it still anonymous even if just one person uses it? So I'm not 100% sure. I was running around all weekend long, so I only really got sort of a bird's eye view of this project. But I'm actually going to try to reach out to them and see if they want to come on next week's call and talk about it. Because ZDai is a really interesting concept, and I think it's really important. But yeah, so I don't have the answer to that question just yet, but I'm gonna copy paste that into my notes file for next week. Yeah. All right. Give me just a second. Do that. All All right, so besides that, there's not really much else that I'm gonna update you guys with. If there's any outstanding questions, if you guys have anything that I might have missed, feel free to bring it up. But otherwise, we're gonna keep this call a little bit short this week.
Hey, I have a quick question.
Sure, Cuba, what's up?
So when you guys are talking to different like STO platforms about getting their collateral into MCD, do they also express interest in Dai, or they just want the margin trade?
I think it's probably like partner dependent. So I think it just really depends on the individual agreement or like what they're seeking to participate in. So I'm not sure because there's actually like quite a lot of STOs and tokenized securities projects and like all of those coming about. So I will take that note down for Ashley, hopefully for next week if she's here. But can you actually type that question out in the chat so I can just copy paste it? Thank you. So the question, hold on. So can you actually repeat the question? Can we talk about it a little bit? Because I'm trying to understand it myself. So at
You want me to still type it out?
yeah, still type it out. Yeah.
So yeah, so I know you guys are talking to a lot of STO platforms about getting their collateral into MCD, but I'm wondering if like those people are also expressing interest in using Dai like Meridia.
Well, I mean, like you could see in the real estate tokenization platforms that they're interested in using Dai, right? So like you'd figure that if you want like a tokenized synthetic dollar, the regulated sort of projects, STOs, securitized tokens, all of these guys, I think, would be probably comfortable even accepting centralized stablecoins like USDC and like Tether, maybe, and all those. That's kind of how I see it. They probably just want the most market, the most liquidity that they can. But I think that, I'm just thinking if I was one of them, I'd look at Dai and I'd say, okay, Dai has the most organic growth and organic usership, but the volume is a lot lower than like some centralized stablecoin. So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure. I also want to point out that like them consulting the actual foundation or our BD team for being listed as collateral is like one step below that actually happening. So like the BD team can only really advise the best way that they can kind of create security around their token, recourse around their token, and also ways that that token is going to be assessed in like the future risk assessments that are going to happen. But in the end, it's always maker tokens, and there's going to be an actual risk assessment. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to get Ashley on here to answer that. I hope that answers a little bit of that question. All right. Jordan Crandall asks, I imagine that these platforms may be using US dollars directly. Yeah, I think that's possible if they probably use like their own like if they do all of their transactions off chain. I don't see why they couldn't just use USD directly, but again, like that probably just depends on the project and depends on their preferences, depends on their strategy. There's a lot of context baked into each one of these really complex projects. Can't imagine doing an STO being simple. But yeah, cool. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to raise them up. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the call in about a minute, and we could pick up next week. And if you guys are interested, I think the call for governance and risk is still going on this week on the 21st, on Thursday. So feel free to join that. I will post actually our SoundCloud, YouTube, and the written recaps to the governance meetings in the chat. They're actually super useful. So if you're interested in governance on MakerDAO, go read up. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. This one was short and sweet, so thanks for coming. Take care, Andrew. Take care, Jordan. Take care, Cuba. Peace.